Namaste, everybody. It is Christmas morning, December 25th, 2020. What an amazing year it has been. Many of us are so grateful that it is coming to an end. I just wanted to stop by and encourage anybody who is feeling heavy this holiday due to being estranged from toxic people. You know, when you start waking up and you recognize that you have codependency, it can be difficult because you wake up and you realize that maybe you're a giver. Maybe you've surrounded yourself with takers, and now what? You know, when you don't know this is what's going on, you're really not aware of how you might have been taken advantage of or how little respect other people have for you. Like, ignorance is bliss, right? Or so they say. And then you wake up and you realize that, oh my gosh, you know, I have this thing called codependency. I tend to fawn when people get upset. I tend to people please. I tend to be highly agreeable. I'm non-confrontational. Some codependents are very confrontational. In the beginning, you may start off as a very agreeable, passive codependent, and after many years of feeling like you've just been walked on and feeling like you've been ignored and you've tried and you've tried and you've tried, you get to a point where, like Melody Beattie says, the pendulum swings to the other side and you are done. You are fried, and now suddenly you don't have the life skills that you need to defend yourself in a healthy way or to end a relationship. You just feel stuck, and then you're the one that starts lashing out. You start to wonder if you're the narcissist. And if you stay on the healing path long enough and you come out of that unhealthy relationship, what you end up realizing is that, wow, my tendency to push back and fight and be highly confrontational subsides when I'm not with this type of a personality. I can tell you that living with my husband, Anthony, I am not the same person that I became when I was married to my ex-husband. This is who I am. Peaceful Lisa is who I am. But there was a time where Peaceful Lisa was MIA because I felt like I had to constantly defend myself against accusations, against irrational thinking, against gaslighting. And so it was like a nightmare. It was absolutely a living hell. And so I just wanted to take a little time and just thank you so much for following this page. And thank you for sharing my work. You know, every once in a while I go into the back end analytics, and it's incredible how many people come to this page and share these posts. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I think the most important message there is to take away from codependency is this idea that you're asleep and you don't know it. And every single person born is born asleep and they don't know it. And that this idea that the mind is both subconscious and conscious at the same time. But the reality is that we are more subconscious, we are more living on autopilot than we realize. And that's a real problem. Because when you're on autopilot, you're recreating the generational karma. You're recreating the karma from your parents. You're literally stuck inside this subconscious paradigm. And you don't know it. You have kids, you have a mortgage, you have an affair, or your spouse has an affair. You know, you go bankrupt, you know, there's domestic violence, there's the kids get into trouble, and, you know, you have neighbors who are driving you like crazy, and you have narcissistic in-laws. It's like lions and tigers and bears, oh my. It's just maddening, right? And it can be difficult to see how what's happening in the now is really a mirror to the past. It is absolutely maddening to live in that and be unaware. And it is really woo-woo when you have this awakening moment and you realize that, wow, this is crazy. And how did I get here? And what can I do about it? I remember my awakening where it just felt like I was in some type of a warped state, like this doesn't make sense to me, where I began to realize that I wasn't thinking, I was reacting. And then the question was, well, where are these thoughts coming from? And then I realized it's programming. And then I was like, well, where'd the programming come from? My mom, my dad, my childhood, influences from my peers, from religion, from being indoctrinated through Catholic school. And what? Yeah, our thoughts are very much recycled data. And we think we're conscious when we're not. And that's why we get into trouble. And that's why if you came from a home that was highly narcissistic and you were treated with indifference, right? What do you attract as an adult? You attract people who treat you with indifference. And what happens? Because we only have a very limited conscious mind, we think that it's this other person, it's their fault, right? They should be better to us, they should be kinder to us. And we sort of feel like we're rooted to that spot like a tree. And in some situations we are. When we're financially dependent, when there's domestic violence involved, when there are other types of abuse involved, when it's a family system or a cult that's involved, yeah, it's hard to escape. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. Absolutely is. And that's horrible. That's horrible. I think more often than not, however, many of us get caught up thinking that the problem is really outside of us when we have far more power than we realize, right? We're not in, this cult situation. It's terrible for people who are, but we're not. And we're not really in a situation that is life-threatening. It's still threatening to our spirit, but we're not in this life-threatening situation. We have a narcissistic sister-in-law. We have a narcissistic mom. We have a narcissistic father-in-law, right? We have a neighbor that is narcissistic, and we're struggling, with our own codependency. Like, we're afraid to rock the boat. We really don't have the life skills to know how to handle this, or we don't have the mind. We don't have the mindset skills to know how to handle this. And so we're slipping and we're slipping and we're slipping and we're getting irritated and more irritated and more depressed and more anxious. That becomes a rabbit hole. So we really have to learn to awaken ourselves through metacognition. It's a faculty of the prefrontal lobe. We have to learn to observe the way that we think, and we have to do everything that we can to take back our power from the 3D matrix. Do that, and we learn to, it's going to sound hokey pokey, but raise the energy of the planet. Is if enough of us find our own light and we let it shine, as hokey pokey as that sounds, if enough of us believe in love and understand that fear is a vibration that negative forces want us to swallow and negative forces want us to believe in, if enough of us fight back this fear of putting ourselves first and fight back this fear of confronting what needs to be confronted and really check yourself. You have to check yourself. So many of us are telling our neighbors to clean their house and our basements are filthy. We're telling this person they should clean their car and we haven't cleaned our closets in years, right? So we have to check our house first. You have to make sure your house is in order. That's the most important thing that you can do for yourself. We're coming into a new year. Let's do everything that we can to absolutely usher in new thoughts and new vibrations. Let's do everything that we can to figure out where should our focus be. The focus has to be on you, right? I used to be angry that my ex was who he was. And then I finally said, namaste, you can be whoever you want to be. I used to be angry that my mother was the way she was. And I finally said, namaste, mom, you can be whoever you want to be. Angry at my dad, namaste, you can be whoever you want to be. Angry at my brother, okay, namaste. I got to a point where I was just accepting of everybody. And as I began to accept, my attachments began to get cut. I was able to allow people to be who they were. I wasn't in resistance. I wasn't telling my brother to clean his house when my house was dirty. I wasn't telling my mother to change when I had change to do. I was just, okay, I need to change myself. I need to allow myself to do what I need to do to get my mind straight. So much of this is psychological and emotional. Spirit knows what to do. We really have to get the mental field right. And I don't think enough of us I don't think enough people in the spiritual community, in my opinion, talk enough about how our thoughts are really interfering with our ability to merge with self. This has to be the goal. We have to get our mind straight. Know that when you focus on something outside of you, you're giving that something outside of you all of your power. All of your power. As you move into 2021, think about that. Bring your power back to the self. If you've got something to do, do it. Rise to the challenge and do it. If you've got a relationship in your life that you feel is toxic, Pay attention to it. Do what you can to eliminate it or spend less time with this person. Make this person less of a priority. I'm telling you, it will change your life. We are all becoming more and more addicted to the 3D world, the matrix. And that's what the powers that be want. The more addicted you are to what's going outside of you, the more controllable you are. The more addicted you are to outside forces, the more susceptible you are to negative messages. And then all of a sudden you're believing that there's this other that you need to be afraid of. And the real thing that we need to do is merge with the self within, find the love for self, and then emanate love. And so now what anybody else is doing is really, it doesn't really affect us that much because we've learned to just be at peace inside our own skin. And I can tell you that it will absolutely liberate you the more you focus on within. And I just hope that by following this page and following my work, that you're getting tidbits of information or maybe a lot of information on how to do just that. So check out my YouTube channel. I have, oh my gosh, over 500 YouTube videos, I think, to date. I have a bunch of meditations that you can use. I have almost every video that you watch will come with some type of life skill that you can use to change your life. So remember, nothing changes until something changes. And the change really has to happen within. I know how self-helpish that sounds, but it's true. It's true. And so focus on yourself this holiday and know that you are enough. And if you are in no contact with a narcissist, there's a reason. Narcissists will use this time of year to try to break no contact. They'll drop presents off at your house. They'll send flowers to your office. They'll try to get in touch with the kids. They'll try to get in touch with your mother. They'll try to do something to get you to call them, right? And to thank them. And then guess what happens? If you ignore it, they call you all sorts of names because you were ungrateful. If you accept it, then they lure you in and they end up berating you anyway. It's a rabbit hole. So this holiday, if you are in no contact with someone, remember that there's a reason for it. And don't allow a narcissist to use the holiday as an excuse to get you to talk to them or meet them or do anything that you've decided that you don't want to do in order to protect yourself. It's Christmas morning. Make it a great day. And if you're not spending it with anyone, then make it all about you because you are enough. Namaste, everybody. Until next time, be safe. Bye for now. If you love this content, check out the next video. And don't forget to click the link below so you can take the codependency quiz. A narcissist is someone who very often will make up a story to make themselves look good. They have this grandiose sense of importance. And when you first meet a narcissist, you might be pulled in by how charismatic they are.